Hello, I got something to say, people. All right, I just want to say thank you. You keep giving me different ways to say, hey, I got something to say. So I'm going to try a few ways. And again, you can reach out to me, email, social media, and say, see, do we like it this way? So let me try another way. Hey, I got something to say. Jamie, my guest, is thinking, what the heck is this woman doing? Welcome, Jamie Atchison. How are you, Jamie?
Good. How are you, Sandy?
I'm awesome. So you realize with the inflection of the voice, it could sound a different way. And so they're like, we like it when you say it this way. And guess what? I'm not even conscious of it. So Jamie, how does it sound to you? Hey, I got something to say.
I love it. I'm here for it.
I want to tell them how we met. I
Yes,
think, let me just make sure I got this right. We met at the WIT conference,
we
Women in
did.
Technology Conference in Philadelphia months ago.
We did. Yes.
And you were presenting, and I ran up to her. You know how everybody's coming up to the presenter, and I was so impressed with her. I'm like, please, I need to meet you. I need to have you on my show. And you agreed. So thank you for being on.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, I'm going to dive into some of your bio because it's extensive, just to give them a little taste of who you are. Does that
Sure.
sound good to you? And
Yes.
I can tell you this, I love first. And I don't think I've had anyone with your background on my show in 16 years.
Here we go. Yes, I'm excited to join you in the community here today.
All right. So, women around the world and men who support us. Jamie, with over 15 years of experience driving organizational growth and sustainability through visionary planning and innovative digital solutions, Jamie Atchison serves as the Senior Director of Innovation and Strategic Planning at the Association of Schools and Programs of Public Health, ASPPH. It should be a song, is it? ASPPH. Okay. Represents the voice. I already have a rap in my head. Represents the voice of academic public health, shaping the future by educating the next generation of public health professionals, convening leaders, generating impactful evidence, and advocating for policies that enhance the health and well-being of people globally. Jamie, when I asked you, what's the one statement you want to get out to the women around the world and the men that support us? You said, trust your vision, lead with purpose, and create the future you want to see. Dive in more. We want to know why you picked that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's ultimately important for women and non-binary individuals just to feel supported and empowered to embrace the power of innovation and their leadership. I truly believe at all levels of organizations and companies, you can be a leader in what you are doing. You don't have to have that leadership title per se to be a leader. And for women and non-binary individuals to know that your voice, your ideas, your talents are really the catalyst for transformation. It's such a transformational time right now in the world, with a lot of different issues going around the world. And it's important for folks to feel empowered to say what they have to say, just like this podcast. Hey, I've got something to say, right?
That's
And so,
something.
yeah, so for us women and non-binary individuals, just to feel empowered, and like you said, to trust your vision, what you have in mind, to lead with your purpose and be a part of the future that you want to see, the outcome that you want to see. And I think it's really critical um, for companies and organizations to recognize that it's important for women and non-binary individuals to have a seat at the table, to be in leadership positions, to help be, the catalyst for change, not only in our nation, but around the world. And I think when women and non-binary individuals are leading teams and cross-collaborative teams, they really bring a diverse perspective and set of solutions that may otherwise not be the case. And of course, other diverse factors as well. But I know we're kind of focused on women and non-binary individuals on this podcast. So I'm kind of just focusing on that element of diversity. But of course, we recognize there's other elements there as well. But yeah, I think just for women to have the seat at the table, to be creative and transform a lot of the challenges that we're facing in this divisive world that we're in right now, into solutions. And I think we're really solution-oriented people and focused on the future and want to create a better place for the world for future generations. And I think we're able to lead with empathy and to have vision, and we can create environments where collaboration and innovation can really flourish and be sustainable, which is critical for the success of companies and organizations and our communities across all industries. So yeah, trust yourself and create the future you want.
Okay, so we got a lot of questions for you, by the way.
Okay, I'm here for it.
Well, when I sent them out, what you do and where you live, Washington, D.C., woo, right now, I don't even think, ladies, I can get to even a 10th of them, but you can always reach out to Jamie. But I'm going to go for the biggest one I got over and over and over again. So they hear you, Jamie. They get it. But they don't know how to keep, and I'm sure you understand this, their head about water from living in. I just had a woman say yesterday, oh my God, please ask Jamie this. Living in fear with everything that's going on. They want to be, okay, show up in the world, being that person how you want the world to look like. But they feel like they can barely tread water. And every which way we go, from all sides, it's based on fear. And they want to know, what do you suggest to get out of that fear mode?
Sure. I think deep down, you just have to be your authentic self. I think that's really all that we can do. So I would start by saying first, lead with your authentic self. Everyone is unique and we all bring a unique perspective, set of values, experiences to the world, to your community, to your workplace. And it can really impact your leadership role. And again, I do think you can be a leader at all levels of organizations and companies. And I really think that being your authentic self and authenticity really fosters trust and respect. And I think trust and respect are so critical in times like these. And they're really foundational to, collaborations, again, whether it's in the workplace or communities, etc. So really just embrace who you are, inspire those around you to do the same, and to create more open and inclusive culture and environment. And I think really that's where innovation thrives. I think without those diverse perspectives and being open, which kind of goes into my number 2 point I'll get into in a moment, but being open to have conversations with others. So recognize, okay, you may be facing this fear. And it's fine, just sit with that fear, and be like, that's okay, but let's be open and listening to others. So to summarize, embrace your authentic self, your authentic leadership. Secondly, I really think we need to cultivate a growth mindset. So like I mentioned, just being open, having conversations, and really try to push yourself to encourage your continuous learning, and where you can adapt to what's happening in the workplace, your community, the state, the nation, the world. And then also, if you are a leader in terms of leading a team, it's really important to have that growth mindset if you're a supervisor or a leader of an organization or company to have that growth mindset. I think with that mindset, it really allows you to face challenges and to see them more as opportunities. So just to pause, stop time. Yes, there could be fears of the unknown, but just to encourage yourself and your team to to see if there is an opportunity in that challenge, or that fearful moment you may have, and to innovate, to be agile, and improve the way you're working or the way you're living. Um, and I know this term of resiliency has come up a lot, during the pandemic years, but it really fosters resiliency when you do have that growth mindset. And also, I think it helps foster creativity and innovation, like I mentioned. And it's just so critical in how fast-paced our world is right now, right? It's just, there's always new technologies, methodologies, the 24/7 newsreel is always on in the background. So, just continuing to challenge yourself with that growth mindset. So those would be my top two things. And I do have two other things to keep in mind, but I'll pause and see if you
So I
want to.
want to go back because those are big things. And
Yeah.
okay, I am a little biased here. I think my peeps are all wonderful, amazing human beings who want to do great in the world, but they get a little tripped up because there's some words you hear all the time and they're thinking from their bosses, oh my God, what are they talking about? Like they're the least authentic person I know. So, what does authenticity mean to you? Because I'm going to paraphrase I call her Sally Bell because I make up names. Dear Sandy, please ask Jamie, how do you deal with a boss that all he does is talk about being an authentic leader? But we all know he's really not. You're going to have to trust me on that. Also, the other day he said to me, what do you mean you're speaking your truth? There's only one truth. If it's a truth, it can only be one, and that's mine. And she said she had to run to the bathroom and just laugh because she didn't know what to do. And so I get letters like this all the time, like, okay,
Right.
they say one thing, but you're going to have to trust me on it. It's not that way. Also, they want to be that person, but how do you deal with a leader? Besides, she said, wait, this is funny. P.S. I could quit, but then again, my husband said, no way, Jose. It's not funny, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you hear this all the time.
I do, I do. And when I presented at WIT at the Women in Tech Summit earlier this year, I heard a lot of anecdotal stories on, so I presented on the topic of how to lead a team during such tumultuous times, right? Coming out of the pandemic, a lot of, challenges arising in the United States in terms of, the Black Lives Matter movement, the Me Too movement, et cetera. And so, a lot of the attendees came up to me and mentioned, they, they don't really have that safe work environment that I was speaking to. And I spoke a lot of, I know this is another term that's being thrown around a lot right now, but psychological safety, and just the lack of psychological safety in the workplace.
I haven't heard that. So the first time I heard it was there. So
Oh, okay.
yes, I was like, okay, all right. I mean, this is something I haven't heard. So I would really like you. I couldn't
Yeah,
wait till you got to that point because I'm not sure really what it is, create psychological safety, except
sure.
for I feel safe mentally, but I want you to.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to kind of bridge the conversation from, the listeners' comments about how leaders are not perhaps their authentic selves.
Correct.
Um, so I think there's lots of challenges around that, but I think ultimately we're unable to have those healthy environments without that sense of psychological safety, which really, there are some really great leaders in this space. So definitely, do your own research there, but it's basically, building an environment and fostering, an environment where everyone feels safe and valued to share their ideas, to voice their concerns, and experiment with the work they're doing without fear of failure. So there's no punitive action or comments or, sentiment if someone shares an idea, a question, or concern. You know,
I got
you
it.
don't, how sometimes people say, oh, I have a question, but it may be a dumb question. There is no such thing as a dumb question or, um, you know, an idea that may be, not relevant, So, just I think it's so critical for leadership at companies and organizations to foster that psychological safety so folks feel comfortable saying what's on their mind. And again, by doing so, that allows for innovation and creativity, and ultimately, I think we'll develop better products and services and programs at companies and organizations nationwide and org-wide. So yeah, I hear a lot of stories of when I spoke about,
Yeah.
psychological safety being the foundation, because you can't build trust without psychological safety. And then, so that individual who had to run to the restroom, whose supervisor or boss, said what they said, that there is no psychological safety. She doesn't feel comfortable saying what
Mm.
she needs to say. And then that way individuals shut down. And when individuals shut down, then that results in lack of productivity, lack of engagement, staff turnover, and it costs, as we all know, there's thousands of dollars lost when that happens, right? So it
Mm.
impacts the bottom line. So yeah, I think it's, a shift in our culture and a shift away from our way of thinking of how to manage organizations and businesses.
You know, so much has come up for me when I was looking at, and I've owned health clubs my entire life, and I've been an entrepreneur. And some of these things, and I'm not just saying this, I always just felt truly grateful for my staff. And I had a lot of them, and we had very little turnover for all the health clubs.
Mhm.
But I think I was doing this and not knowing what I did. I never took a business course. I
Mhm.
learned from my mentors who are amazing mentors, but for me, it was more, again, I wanted them to throw as many ideas around as possible because something's going to hit. I also tried to listen to every single person that wanted to speak to me, and I never felt like someone was below me or above me. Like things that
Right,
I just thought, I swear to you, everyone was doing like this is what you do. I mean, this is just
right,
common decency. So when
right.
I sold my clubs in 2019, I started going to more workshops and doing different seminars for a different subject. But I hear this, I think, what the heck? I mean, how can you be a
Right.
great leader? So my question to you, and maybe you can help me with this because somebody said this to me. One of my clients that I have, not on this subject, was saying that a lot of this, because I brought some of this stuff up to him, and he said, Sandy, that is not business. That is woo woo. I go, huh? Because, yeah, that's touchy feely stuff. If you want a successful business and you're really caring about your bottom line, like you care about people, good for you. But if you want to make money, that's not how you do it. I go, yeah, no, I did have successful businesses and sell because, yeah, but you were in another lane. And I get it. He's really wealthy. I did not I really was so dumbfounded. I was like, well, that's not what we're talking about because he hired me for something else. And I thought, holy moly, I'm so glad that happened yesterday because I didn't know how to answer it, Jamie. I really
Mhm.
didn't. He's like, that's woo woo and touchy feely. And that's not how, I mean, you truly care about your investors and your bottom line. And I know that's not true. And I started researching it, but I really was
Right.
like, I mean, it's not true, right?
Right. No, it's not. And I think when you um have a leadership style where you have that sense of psychological safety, you have that trust with your employees. There's many studies out there, I don't need to read all the stats. It would be great if I had the numbers, but when you have engaged employees, productivity levels go up and it ultimately improves the bottom line. So, there's, lots of money can get thrown out the window when you have, a lot of staff turnover. There's numbers out there on how much it costs per employee on average to, fill that vacant position if someone leaves. Um, so, a lot goes into that. Um, and again, I do think it comes back down to this need, especially for our nation to be very innovative in this global environment and global race in technology right now. And I think in order to foster a really innovative and creative space to have as many voices and perspectives at the table. So again, I know just for women to feel more empowered and to support fellow women and non-binary individuals to speak up and feel empowered to do so and implement change
Yeah.
and for the better.
A friend of mine, I didn't get this months ago. I met her at a speaking engagement, and she worked for Procter and Gamble in innovation and product development. And she was so successful because she said you have to get more at the human level. And they were testing shampoos or whatever. And so she would actually get women in showers and see how they reacted to the different products,
Mm-hmm.
which it took so much convincing, she said, to get there. But why wouldn't you want to ask who's using it, and see how?
Right,
And to me, she's like, Sandy, that's innovation.
right. Exactly, right. And so in the work I do, an aspect of my work is overseeing the digital footprint at ASPPH and the websites and web application and other digital solutions we provide to our members and other constituents. And it's really important, and I always stress for us to have that human-centric design. So to that very point, it's so important to connect with the individuals who are engaging with the products, the programs, the services to ensure that you're meeting their needs. Of course, there's going to be needs for the business and organization, but ultimately ensuring you have that, that individual in mind is just so critical and really, like you mentioned, can result in some really innovative, creative solutions that you may not have otherwise thought of. And without that human connection, you'll create something that otherwise is really incomplete or could be biased. And I think we hear a lot on the news on the failures on how when you're not connecting with the customer, or, not implementing human-centric design or not having a diverse employee base can result in some pretty epic, failures. So I won't name them now to put those companies on blast, but I think we can see those in the news. So it's just, yeah, it's really important at both ends. And when you're creating innovative solutions to have an diverse employee base, but then also ensure you're connecting with your customers.
Okay, they want to know, before we go, because I know we're going to
Yes.
run out of time, so they want to know how you spend your day. Like, take us through how, from not every week, but on average,
Right.
where your time is spent.
Sure. So I have the pleasure of waking up every morning and I have a daily scrum with the development team. And for those who don't know Scrum, it's a framework, an agile framework where we meet every day and we talk about what did we do yesterday, what are we doing today, and what roadblocks do we have in our way. It's a 15-minute call. We used to do these in person when we were all in person, but now we're dispersed workforce. So we join via Zoom, but we talk about that, and I ensure that everyone has what they need to be successful for the day as Scrum lead, along with my amazing senior project manager. She's a rock star. So yeah, we just help facilitate to ensure our team members are set up for success. I really truly believe in that model of servant leadership, that we're there to help individuals be the best they can be and do the best they can do on a daily basis. So yeah, it's just a short meeting, and honestly, seeing their faces is like part of the best part of my day. I love my team. They're amazing. Um, And then we just go on our own way and work on projects. So, working on the projects that we're moving forward in the fiscal year, creating roadmaps for the future products and programs and services, engaging with our members,
Mm.
um, also engaging with other partners in the field to move our work forward. And I also allocate time to learn what's being moved forward in the innovation space in terms of public health, academic public health, and just in the tech space in general, just staying on top of what's new, what's coming up, and really thinking about the future and how I can bring value to our organization, our members, and our partners and constituents that we serve in public health with our mission of just creating this healthy world and for everyone everywhere.
Sounds wonderful and challenging. Okay, so
Yeah.
end with this. What is the most challenging thing you're experiencing right now in the next year? And what's the most exciting thing? So let's start with challenging.
Challenging. Well, I think it's the elephant in the room in terms of the upcoming election. Um,
What election? No.
right. So yeah, I think depending on who's in office, in the White House will impact, um, our response in terms of how we move forward, work in the academic public health field, partnering with those in the academic research and practice fields, but eager to work with either administration and advocating for public health and education and public health. So yeah, I think that's one challenge, and just we're really moving forward our voting is public health campaign right now at ASPPH, and ensuring that everyone has their voice and gets out there and votes. So that's our current challenge.
Okay. And what's the most exciting thing you're doing in the next year?
The most exciting. Oh,
Yeah, anything.
yeah. Um, I think just wrapping our heads around how we can better navigate and help our members and constituents navigate the world with AI. I think it's such a hot topic right now, but how is
Yeah.
AI being used in the K through 12 space? How is AI being used in the higher ed space? How can we, as ASPPH, help navigate that for our members and other partners and constituents? There's a lot of guidelines out there, best practices, but ultimately, yeah, just wrapping our heads around AI and the impact of AI and public health, academic public health, and ensuring that there are good guardrails to ensure that it's being used for the good.
That'll keep you busy. I
It
feel like
will.
every week I feel like, whoa, what's happening now? Even in my
It's,
space.
yeah, we have to stay on top of it. But the thing is, it's so fast paced moving. It's just so fascinating. And I think the beauty around it is that it's really bringing together a lot of different sectors in terms of AI and, connecting with those in the nonprofit space, academic, private sector, government sector, and just wrapping our heads around it and again, ensuring it's being used for good and hopefully it'll be a positive impact for the academic public health field. And it's just an exciting place to be, and I'm happy to be part of that journey.
Well, you won't be bored, Jamie. You
I
won't.
won't.
And you got two little kids, so there's that.
I know.
Oh my goodness. Well, Jamie, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really,
Thank you,
really
Sandy.
appreciate it. And I love first, and this is perfect timing. I mean, we were playing with the time and the date, and I'm so happy it's coming out right now. I really am. So before we go, though, is there anything else that we didn't get in that you want to say to our Hey, I got something to say people?
I think I really covered it. Just be your authentic self and don't be fearful to speak up. I think our voices matter and don't be shy.
I love that. Okay, how can they find you? How can they reach you?
Right. They can reach me on LinkedIn primarily. So yes, find me on LinkedIn, Jamie Atchison at ASPPH.
Okay. Now the biggest question, what are the kids doing for Halloween?
Well, my 7.5-year-old boy wants to be the soccer player Lionel Messi. He wears
Ah,
his Messi jerseys nearly every day to school. Major fan. The 3.5-year-old, every time you ask him what he'll be for Halloween, it changes every time. Um, so we'll see what the flavor of the day is come October 31st. Luckily, we have just a box of play clothes he'll probably choose from, but we'll see.
there's nothing that comes like a 3.5-year-old goes, Mommy, I want to be this. No?
Right. I mean, last time I asked, he wanted to be, I think it was a dinosaur, and now he wants to be a duck. So
Oh,
every day it's like some animal or something. So yeah, we'll just have to see. And I'll just be, luckily I work in an agile environment, so I'll just have to pivot and be ready to make something happen.
a duck
Halloween
head
day.
and a dinosaur tail. I can see it
Right.
now.
I
Come
mean,
on,
right.
Mom. Come
Yeah.
on. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I have an 1840 house, so I haunt the heck out of it. But when the young ones
Amazing.
come up, I'm like, turn off the noise, turn off the noise. All
Right.
right, hey, I got something to say, people. Jamie and I would really appreciate you sharing, liking, and rating it. It would mean the world to us. And you know what I'm going to say. Until next time, bye, Jamie, and toodles, everyone.
Bye.